Now, Bakkies, is there no chance that you might come out of retirement like your good mate Victor Matfield? Is this the end of your rugby career?
No, definitely not. I had so many discussions after I had a discussion with Heineke and to still stay in the loop or stay in the system to keep the door open for the World Cup. And for me, it was like I said to so many people that asked me that question, is rugby was part of my life. It wasn't my life. And I made the decision actually the night after I came on Twickenham against England, and I stood up that morning and I got that inner peace in my heart. And not a lot of players in world rugby can step away from what you loved so much in your entire life, that you can say, listen, yeah, I can stop on my terms, and I can say that Bakkies Botha stopped on his own terms. And Heineke said it again after this game, after this weekend, that he still believed that I'm still good enough to go to the World Cup. But for me, it's not about good or not good enough. For me, it's, I made a decision, and the coach and everybody must respect it. And that's why I feel I made the right decision, and I've got that inner peace, and I'm actually blessed that I had the career that I have. And I'm just going to support the Springboks coming to the World Cup, and know that I'm walking away from the game, that I still had it in me to play in the green and gold. And with that inner peace, I can go home and I can spend some time with my wife and my kids. Because one of the main reasons as well that I made the decision is I went to France, I got injured in 2011 World Cup, went to France, and I never finished on my terms. And I'm a very big religious man, and I just asked God, give me one more chance. And he gave me 9, 10 more chances. I played 9, 10 more test caps after that stint in 2011 World Cup. And who am I to ask for more than 9 caps that I only asked for 1? So walking away with my head up high, I made a difference, and I'm just proud of what I did, and all the teams that I participate in. And just I can say that I'm one of the biggest Springbok supporters now, and hopefully I can stand with the supporters in the streets and after the World Cup and celebrate the Web Alice coming back with a team that's definitely up the best 2 teams in the world, and they definitely stand a chance to win the World Cup.
Now, of course, we know you as the enforcer. You've always really added a physical aspect to your game. Who's the real Bakkies Botha? You talk about throwing wood on the fire. What are you going to do now? What are some of your interests that you're really going to now take advantage of?
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is a lot of people. It's so funny, and through my career and everybody, it's funny enough, and a lot of people think I'm the same kind of person that I'm on the pitch, but that's the opposite. And it's so many people that doesn't know me at all. They judge the book by its cover, the way I'm playing, the way I love to play with the physicality side of the game. But for me, I'm actually don't like a lot of people. I'm a quiet type of person. I love to be at home, just to be alone, be spending some time with my wife and kids. And when I have a barbecue, I'll maybe just invite 1 or 2 friends, or just one couple to.
You can call it a braai now.
Yeah, braai, and I like the one-on-one relationship to have a barbecue, not a lot of people, and that's me. To be at home, to be relaxed and away from a lot of people, the vibe and all the stuff around it. But for me, it's just to I tell it feed up, but it's not actually feed up. To be at home and to set all the faces at home for 3 kids is quite a tough job. And it's, my wife is 24/7 at home, but I'm taking my hat off for her to get all the stuff ready, especially in the morning, get the kids up, get them ready for school, go to school, activities after school, sporting activities. So that's me. And I'm actually so blessed in my career that I can actually do now what I want to do and what I love to do. I don't need to go to a 8 to 5 job. It's for me I can plan my own program during the week and decide what I want to do and do stuff that I love so much. And it's time for me now to do stuff that I love so much. And when I do that stuff, it's not actually work. To be on the farm, work with animals in the field, and working with my kids and pick them up at school and be part of their lives now. It's not actually work. It's just enjoyment of life.
Because you've been in France, obviously, the last 4 years. Are you happy to retire in South Africa? I mean, South Africa has its problems. I don't know how much of it you keep in touch with over there. I mean, what do you love about South Africa? Why do you
definitely.
still?
I think, listen, my friend, I'll be honest with you today. I've been around the world, and there's so many saying here and saying there, and a lot of talks, negative talks, and the thing that stood out for me when I was overseas, you're getting so much feedback from the media. It's all the negative stuff in South Africa. And I've been around the block, I've been around the world, but this is still a country with all its problems. I won't say that we don't have our problems. And every other country in the world's got their own problems as well. But it will be a struggle to get me out of this country. You hear a lot of guys staying back in Europe, staying in England, but I'm here, and my soul is here, my heart is in Africa, in South Africa, and definitely I'm happy to come back after 4 years and to be with my wife and kids, and again to play a role in a lot of people's life. The way sport changes people's lives, that's the way I want to change people's lives in the specific areas that I will get involved in the primary schools or high school of rugby or a few charities and just doing stuff that I love, and just to see some smiles on people's faces that doesn't have hope in life, and that's for me the most crucial thing, is to change people's lives and just to see one or two smiles on their faces and to make them a happy day or so. But for me, it's great to be back after a 4-year stint in France, but amazing to come back to this great country. And next week will be a big week for me as well, because my big container is arriving. So it's the big unpacking a container and all the stuff that I bought over the years to put in my house now, and just to when I'm sitting down and think about it and see some small stuff from my house and think about my 4 years in France, it's just amazing. But it's amazing to be back in South Africa, and this is the place that I'll definitely get old.
Okay, Bakkies, if you hadn't become a rugby player, where do you think you would have ended up?
Yeah, I think there were so different kind of ways life walks a path with you, and I think definitely, to be honest, I think I will just because I'm coming from a small little town, Secunda, where my mom and dad is still working for the big field company Sasol. I think if I didn't grab the opportunities that came my way since I've been 17, 18 years old, I'll definitely maybe end up at maybe an odd job at the big field company of Sasol. But like I said, life is all about choices, and again, I made the right choices, and I worked hard from there on to build myself up to where I am today. And it's blessings in my life that I made the right choices, and protect especially the career that I picked to become a professional rugby player. Since the day I wrote my final exam, and all my friends went on a nice matric holiday to Margate and everything, and I couldn't go because I signed a contract, and the next day I walked into Brakpan first training session at the Falcons, and that's where all my history of my professional rugby career started. And that's the small decisions that I made in life, not to go on holiday with all my friends in the matrics, and rather go to the Falcons and start my rugby career. And that's the decision that I made, the right decision that I made in life, and I'm happy. And definitely it worked out for me, and I worked hard from there, where I played under full Pretorius until today. I finished my international career under Heineke, that pulled me in end of 2000 at the Bulls. But no, it's that small decisions that make a big difference in a person's life.